A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News. You're with me, Dasani Atada. Let's start off with a look at your headlines. Court grants permission to commence investigations into the Mahanura vessel of Avantgarde under Money Laundering Act. Debate on UN Human Rights Report tabled in Geneva commences in Parliament. All-party meeting to hold discussions on the Geneva report this evening. West Indies make an early inroads into the Sri Lanka batting lineup in the second test at the P. Sara Oval. Taking a look at the news in detail, in local news, court granted permission to commence investigations into the Mahanura vessel of Avantgarde, which was found docked at the Galle harbour in January this year under the Money Laundering Act. This permission was granted upon request made by the Criminal Investigations Department to the Galle magistrate Nilupuli Lankapura.
State Counsel Shanil Kularatna, appearing on behalf of the CID, informed court that there was no sufficient evidence to file action against Avantgarde in terms of the Prevention of Terrorism Act, Explosives Ordinance and Firearms Ordinance. The attorneys at law appearing on behalf of the Avantgarde Security Services Private Limited requested court to terminate proceedings. However, the State Counsel representing the Attorney General objected to this application and stated that investigations are being carried out under the Money Laundering Act. The magistrate, after considering the submissions made by both parties, ordered for further investigations to be carried out over Avantgarde under the Money Laundering Act and for further reports to be submitted on the 25th of February next year. When this case was taken up on a previous occasion, an application was made to court on behalf of Avantgarde that the armoury contained in the Mahanura vessel be transferred to a different vessel as the vessel was in a deteriorated condition. Accordingly, court ordered the registrar to direct the Ports Authority and the Southern Commander of the Sri Lanka Navy to enforce the order given by the magistrate in this regard. Speaking in Parliament yesterday, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe made a statement on Avantgarde.
In the letter dated the 18th September 2012, the then Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development, D.M.D. Jayaratne, informed the chairman of Avantgarde that the Minister of Defence had permitted to operate the floating armoury in international waters. However, the Ministry of Defence is not in possession of the document that was given to anchor the floating armoury at the Galle harbour. The only permit for the weapons were from the countries the weapons were issued from, and the accepting and issuing of those weapons are to be done under the supervision of the Sri Lankan Navy. The Ministry of Defence has not granted permission to issue any of the weapons from the floating armoury. In addition, the Ministry of Defence is not in the possession of the documents which detail the weapons nor the country of origin. The Attorney General has not advised to withdraw the case nor to conclude the investigations. As clear instructions were provided to continue with the investigation, the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption will continue with the investigations over bribery allegations, while the police will continue with the investigations under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act No. 5 of 2006. Therefore, there is no requirement for another external investigation in this regard.